G'day, I'm Daz, here to guide you through the absolute train wreck we call life in Australia. Grab a pie, sip your coffee, and watch me roast this place harder than the sun on a February arvo. 5 reasons why Aussie housing is doomed, and it's not just the interest rates. G'day, legends. Let's talk about the one thing every Aussie loves more than footy. And a Bunnings snag combined property. Yep, the housing market. That sacred national obsession. But behind the glossy brochures and auction paddles lies a ticking time bomb with a mortgage attached. Here are 5 brutally honest reasons why the Aussie housing market is on thin ice and why it might finally crack. It's like a cold one on a hot day. 1, prices are utterly cooked and wages can't keep up. All right, first up, housing affordability. Or should I say, unaffordability. Australia now ranks, drumroll, number 2 globally for least affordable housing. Beaten only by Hong, bloody Kong. The median house price, 9.7 times the average household income. And in Sydney, mate, try 13.8 times. To put it bluntly, the average Aussie would have to stop eating, stop driving, stop living, and still save for over a decade just to scrape together a deposit. Meanwhile, wages have grown about 127% since the mid-92nd. House prices, a jaw-dropping 483%. That's not a market. That's daylight robbery dressed up as the great Australian dream. This isn't just unaffordable. It's delusional. 2, we're drowning in mortgage debt and rates are the anchor. Let's be real. We didn't buy these overpriced homes with pocket change. We used record-breaking debt. Aussie households now owe 182% of their income. That's one of the highest rates in the developed world. Back when interest rates were 2%, it was all, she'll be right. But now, rates are up and mortgage repayments are eating 50% of household income. Half your pay gone. You've got families refinancing every 6 months just to stay afloat. And what's worse, it's not even for a beachside dream. It's for a 3-bedder in the outer burbs next to a roundabout and a servo. One more rate rise, and a whole generation might be calling the bank to ask, hey, does Centrelink count as income? 3, it's all propped up by jobs. Lose those, game over. Let's talk about what's really holding this mess up. Low unemployment. As long as Aussies stay employed, they can keep forking out the mortgage. But if the job market stumbles, if unemployment ticks up even slightly, we'll see forced sales, desperate discounts, and prices falling faster than crypto in a bear market. We're one global shock away. A Chinese slowdown, a US recession, another C-19 style punch in the guts, and then the floor disappears. One analyst literally said, the unemployment rate is the glue holding the housing market together. Not policy, not fundamentals, just hope that no one gets laid off. That's not stability. That's wishful thinking with a mortgage attached. 4, it's a speculator's paradise, not a shelter system. Let's not pretend anymore. Housing has become less about living and more about leveraging. Thanks to negative gearing and capital gains tax discounts, investors get more help from the government than first home buyers do from their own families. We've built a system where it's more profitable to own 5 houses than to live in just one. And it worked. Investors flooded in, prices soared, demand exploded. But what happens when the music stops? When yields don't match interest costs? When tax settings shift? When immigration slows? It's all a Ponzi scheme with better marketing. And now the cracks are showing. And the queue out front is thinning. 5, rental crisis equals housing crisis in disguise. And finally, the rental market. If you thought buying was rough, renting's a horror show. Vacancy rates are at record lows. Rents up 30% plus in some cities. Tenants applying with resumes, pet photos, even borderline bribes just to get a look in. But here's the kicker. This isn't just bad for renters. It's a canary in the coal mine for the whole housing system. Because when people can't buy or rent affordably, the market breaks down. Social unrest bubbles up. Politicians scramble too late. And panic policies roll out. More people are being pushed into homelessness, emergency housing, moving back in with mum and dad, and not in the wholesome Sunday roast kind of way. This pressure cooker, it's not just unsustainable. It's explosive. Final thoughts. The dream is cracking. So, where does this leave us? Prices are out of reach. Debt's through the roof. Jobs are the only band-aid. The system's rigged for speculators, and renting's no escape hatch. We've built an economy that relies on housing going up forever. But no market goes up forever. Not stocks. Not crypto. Not even property. The Aussie housing market isn't just a bit overvalued. It's one shock away from chaos. So maybe it's time we stop treating it like a get-rich-quick scheme and start asking who's going to be left holding the bag when the music stops. Because right now, this looks less like a boom and more like the prequel to a very messy bust. And hey, if you made it this far without throwing your phone at a real estate agent, legend. Now, I'd normally ask you to give me a house as thanks, but let's be honest, they're not building those anymore. They're building luxury shoeboxes with shared walls and calling them investments. So instead, just chuck us smash that subscribe button and leave a comment below telling me how many organs you'd have to sell to afford a carport in Sydney. It really helps the channel. And no, the algorithm doesn't accept kidneys. I checked. Thanks again for tuning in, you're bloody legends. But wait, before you wander off to scroll cat videos, click one of the other links on the screen. They're right there, mate, not hiding like your savings account. And if this video tickled your brain that much, slap it on repeat and watch it till YouTube begs you to stop. It's cheaper than therapy, and you get me for free. Go on. This is Daz. And no, I can't afford my own backyard anymore, but I've got opinions. Righto then, catch you next time.